Star Trek TJU, Episode 2, Lost in Time. Fade in, interior, USS Voyager, transporter room. Tim and James, two crew members of the USS Voyager, stand on the transporter pad. The transporter operator, Ensign Kim, works the controls. Ready to transport. Energizing. The familiar blue glow surrounds Tim and James as they are transported away. Interior, Deep Space Nine, transporter room. Tim and James materialize on the transporter pad of Deep Space Nine. The transporter chief, Miles O'Brien, looks confused. Who the hell are you guys?
We're from the USS Voyager. We were supposed to be transported back to our own time, but something must have gone wrong.
We're just glad to be alive. I'll have to notify Commander Sisko. Miles taps his communicator. O'Brien to Ops. We have two unexpected guests in the transporter room. Cut to Interior, Deep Space Nine, Ops Center. Captain Benjamin Sisko and Chief of Security Odo stand in Ops as the call comes in.
What's going on, Chief?
Two crew members from the Voyager just materialized on the transporter pad.
I'll be right down.
Sisko and Odo exit Ops and head for the transporter room. Interior.
Let's get the Tarkalian flu over there.
I wish. Interior, Deep Space Nine, transporter room. Sisko and Odo enter the transporter room.
I'm Captain Benjamin Sisko. Welcome to Deep Space Nine. Thank you, sir. I'm Lieutenant Tim Parker, and this is Ensign James Lee.
I forgot to correct that.
It's fine. Oh,
Still.
sorry. Lieutenant, Ensign, I'm sorry for the confusion. We'll do everything we can to help get you back to your own time. Captain, may I speak with you for a moment?
Sisko nods and follows Odo out of the transporter room.
Talking to each other. Captain, I've been doing some scans on our new arrivals, and I've discovered something interesting. What's that? Their biosignatures are slightly different from ours. It's possible they're from an alternate universe. Interesting. Let's keep an eye on them and see if we can figure out what's going on.
Cut to Interior, Deep Space Nine, mess hall. Tim and James sit at a table, looking around at the alien crew members.
This is crazy. We're stuck in the future on a completely different ship.
At least the food is good. Suddenly, a familiar face approaches the table.
Tim! James! It's good to see you! Neelix? What are you doing here? I'm on a diplomatic mission at Deep Space Nine. What happened? How did you end up here?
We were supposed to be transported back to our own time, but we got sent here instead.
I'll see what I can do to help. In the meantime, let me introduce you to some of the crew.
Cut to Interior, Deep Space Nine, bridge. Captain Sisko sits in his chair as O'Brien works on the console.
Report, Chief.
We're detecting a subspace anomaly. It's emitting a Tetrion particle stream. Tetrion particle stream.
Can we get a visual?
Yes, sir. Putting it on screen now. The view screen shows a swirling mass of energy.
Captain, the anomaly is destabilizing. We need to evacuate the station. All hands, this is the captain. Abandon ship. Repeat, abandon ship. Evacuate to the runabouts and get as far away from the station as possible.
Cut to Interior, Deep Space Nine, corridor. Tim, James, and Neelix run through the empty corridors trying to find a way out.
Can't wait till we have to save the day. This way! I know a shortcut!
They turn a corner and run straight into Odo.
Where do you think you're going? We're trying to get off the station. What's going on? There's a subspace anomaly that's destabilizing. We need to get far away from the station as possible. But we don't have a ship. There are runabouts on the upper level. Hurry.
Cut to exterior, Deep Space Nine docking ring. The runabouts blast off from the docking ring just as the station explodes in a massive burst of energy. Interior, runabout. Tim, James, Neelix, and O'Brien sit in the cramped quarters of the runabout, watching as Deep Space Nine disappears into the distance.
I can't believe it's gone. Somehow I still had to have energy when I did that line. We have to find a way to get back to our own time and prevent this from happening. We'll do everything we can to help.
And we'll keep an eye out for any subspace anomalies that might bring us closer to home.
This is Captain Sisko. Thank you for your service to Deep Space Nine. We will never forget your bravery.
The crew of the runabout share a somber moment of silence, reflecting on the loss of their home. But they know that they will continue to explore the galaxy, seek out new life and new civilizations, and boldly go where nobody has gone before. I forgot to take that out because I made it continue. Cut to interior roundabout later. The crew is sitting in silence, lost in their thoughts. Suddenly, Tim and James speak up.
Excuse us, but we should probably explain why we were on the Voyager in the first place. Yes, please do.
Well,
the first line. I was waiting for it to come up.
Well, we're podcasters. We host a show where we talk about science fiction and other nerdy things.
I'm not sure I follow. We were doing an episode on Star Trek and wanted to get an inside look at the Voyager. But when we stepped into the transporter, something went wrong and we ended up here.
I see. We'll do our best to get you back to your own time. That threw me the fuck off.
I understand. In the meantime, why don't we make the most of it? There's plenty to explore on this side of the galaxy. Sounds like a plan.
Cut to interior roundabout several weeks later. The crew has been traveling through the Gamma Quadrant for several weeks, encountering new species and exploring uncharted territories. Tim and James have settled in the routine of life on the runabout, recording their podcast episodes and learning all they can about the Star Trek universe.
Runabouts are small, by the way. They're little shuttles. We're approaching a new station. It's not Deep Space Nine, but it's the closest thing we've found. It looks like a trading post. Maybe they'll have the resources we need to repair the runabout.
And who knows? Maybe they'll have some information about getting you back to your own time.
That would be great.
But honestly, I'm starting to get used to life on the runabout. It's like we're on a never-ending Star Trek adventure. The crew lands at the trading post and begins to look for supplies. As they explore the station, they notice it's bustling with activity. Aliens from all over the quadrant are trading goods and sharing stories.
Just picturing like the crew and the runabout going like looking at each other like, what the fuck is Star Trek? What do they keep talking about? they don't know.
Yeah,
yeah. This is their lives we're fucking with. This could be a great place to call home for a while. Agreed. We could use this as a base of operations while we continue our exploration of the Gamma Quadrant.
And it's not like we have a ship to go back to.
Wait, what do you mean?
Yeah, we've been on this journey for so... That's not the right word. Yeah, we've been on this adventure for so long, we forgot about that our original goal was to get back to our own time. The crew shares a small laugh, realizing that they've become a part of the Star Trek universe. They know that they may never find a way back home, but they're content to continue their exploration and podcasting adventures. Cut to interior trading post later. The crew have settled into life on the trading post. They have set up a makeshift living area, complete with a small kitchen and sleeping quarters. Tim and James continue to record their podcast episodes, discussing their experiences in the Star Trek universe.
I've been able to trade some of our supplies for fresh food and water. The people here have been very friendly. And I've been able to gather some intelligence on the Dominion. It seems they're planning an attack on one of the nearby planets.
We'll have to warn them.
And we'll make sure to document everything for our listeners.
Speaking of our listeners, we've been getting some great feedback on recent episodes.
Who's listening to these? The future people?
The crew share a smile, feeling a sense of accomplishment in their new lives. They've been able to make a home for themselves on the trading post, and they're making a difference in the Star Trek universe.
We're just like making all these episodes of this podcast. We're like, I can't believe we're in the future, and they have like warp speed and transporters, and everyone listening is like, yeah, we talk about it's been around for like 100 years. This is what are you talking about?
We're sending the episodes into the past.
Oh, is that what we're doing? Okay, with our equipment.
Yeah,
we plug our laptops into the fucking slipstream of space.
Yeah, with our podcast equipment.
Yep. It's been weeks since we arrived here, and we still haven't found a way back to your own time. But I don't think any of us are in a hurry to leave.
Agreed. This may not have been where we planned to end up, but it's where we belong for now.
And who knows, maybe we'll stumble upon a way back home someday.
But until then, we have plenty of stories to tell. The crew raised their glasses in a toast, celebrating their new lives on the trading post. Fade to black. End of episode.
Fuck yeah. Alright, so do you remember the prompt for this? Because this is our thing after the episode. We peel that curtain back and we reveal the prompt that generated this episode.
Well, from everything that happened in the first episode, I had started it saying that Tim and James are trying.
Tim Parker and James Lee.
No, it made that on its own. I forgot to change.
No,
that.
I know. It doesn't matter.
I just said Tim and James. I said I think they were going from the Voyager, being transported away from the Voyager, and end up on Deep Space Nine, and then it created that whole first thing on its own, which I forgot about that, but that's what popped me off. And it was like Tim Parker and James Lee, and I was like, what the fuck? They just gave us names.
It made me Spider-Man.
Guess so. And then and then after that, I said I don't remember the prompt for having the fucking ship explode. And I don't know if Cisco died with the ship or not, because he wasn't on the trading post with us.
I think he made it out because he has that he had that message like afterward over the intercom, but then he never spoke again.
That's what I'm saying. Why wouldn't he go with us or have another roundabout with us? I don't know. But then I said that we ended up finding another station, but then it said trading post, and I was like, all right, close enough. And then I made it to where the Dominion had brought up on its own. I was like, oh shit. But I think what I said was that we were starting to be comfortable with where we're at in like No Rush Home or some shit like that. And so that's when it kind of was like, oh, like, well, we'll get home someday, but like right now we're fine. So that way it's open for adventures and for us to do more Starfleet shit and then eventually go home.
Fuck yeah.
So wherever the buddy decides to carry episode 3, that's on him, but I did my part.
I'll think about it.
And the one time I do something, I destroy Deep Space Nine.
It completely eliminated the station.
I didn't mean to. We were there for 5 minutes with Neelix, and
we sure were.
And all of a sudden, abandoned ship. I was like, never in the 3 seasons I've watched this show has anything made them be like, leave the ship.
I have an idea though. I have an idea of how to do it.
Write it down or remember it, and then get working on episode 3, buddy.
You know it.
All right, and we'll see you
in space.